When it comes to hot flashes, you get this rush of heat that suddenly rolls over you. It can make you feel dizzy and drenched in sweat, but sometimes even chilled. And hot flashes can either last a few minutes, sometimes up to an hour, but they can feel like forever. In this video, we will look at why hot flashes happen, the options you have to address them, and things you want to avoid and limit if you frequently get them. So stay with me till the end. And real quick, guys, before we get started, it would mean the world to me if you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and turn the bell on next to it to stay up to date with new weekly videos. Now, hot flashes are also known as vasomotor symptoms. It's a medical condition and it's also a symptom of menopause that many women seek help for. They usually come on suddenly and can cause an intense heat and sweat in the face, neck, and chest, and sometimes you can even see the skin turn red as if you're blushing. And approximately 75% of menopausal women in the US get hot flashes, so you're definitely not alone. Both the frequency and severity really only starts to increase during the transition into menopause, and will start to peak approximately 1 year after the final menstrual period. And you know you've reached menopause when you get a full year without any menstrual bleeding. And the average age of your last period is typically around your late 40s, with 51 being the most common age in the US. And the year after your last period is often when you're going to be experiencing the most amount of hot flashes. And in terms of how long they'll continue happening, that'll depend. It's also common that they persist for 6 months to several years, eventually tapering off over time. And on average, a hot flash episode lasts about 5 minutes long for most women, happening anywhere from 10 times per day to several times per week. And it can also be the reason why you wake up at night as well, which is also known as night sweats, soaking wet. And to be frank, the lack of available treatments really highlights an unmet need, considering that a large percentage of people who get hot flashes regularly, we don't got a lot of options for them. It's actually sad in my opinion. You're only told that you really have only 2 options: hormonal therapies and non-hormonal therapies. Currently, the most effective way to relieve the discomfort of hot flashes is to take estrogen or estrogen with progesterone. But taking this hormone carries its own risks, and the safety is very controversial. The good news is, if estrogen is appropriate for you and you start it within 10 years of your last menstrual period or before age 60, the benefits can be greater than the risks. And only your doctor can see if you are the right candidate for it though. And this can be taken as skin patches or creams and not just pills. But people who have had a history of certain types of cancer, blood clotting disorders, or severe cardiovascular diseases aren't good candidates for estrogen. That's why the second option your doctor might have you try is your non-hormonal options. The first being Veozah. Veozah blocks neurokinin activity, and when you block neurokinin activity specifically at the NK3 receptor, you tap into the body's temperature control system. And when you tap into the body's temperature control system, you can modulate hot flashes. Also, for non-hormonal therapies, you got your SSRIs like paroxetine at a low dose of 7.5 milligrams, which was the first non-hormonal option for hot flashes, unless of course you're taking tamoxifen, which in case your doctor may have you on venlafaxine since there's an interaction there. And if you have breast cancer, your doctor may have you on gabapentin or sometimes even clonidine patches instead, which may be still hit or miss if I'm being honest. But that really does sum up our options that we are told: hormonal therapies and non-hormonal therapies. But what else have people tried that they say works? Well, keep in mind that these are anecdotal, as clinical studies aren't robust enough to recommend any of these, but not to worry because I'm going to go over them anyway, with the first being black cohosh. And extracts of black cohosh have been used all throughout Europe for the past 50 years because for some people, it does work. The root of the plant is used in capsules and tea. Now, the exact mechanism of black cohosh is unknown, but researchers believe it binds to estrogen receptors or stimulates serotonin receptors. One of those 2 things are happening, and possibly even a combination of both. And you can find it in Thorne's Menopause bundle, which contains advanced bone support since our bones get weaker in menopause. The resveratrol, which contains NR, quercetin, and resveratrol, which supports the body's natural aging process in menopause. And of course, the Meta Balance, which contains your black cohosh. I'll leave the link below as my affiliate. If you wish to check them out, you definitely can down below. The second is soy isoflavones from food sources and not from supplements. This is because soy contains phytoestrogens, which are chemicals that act like estrogen in the body. They can help reduce hot flashes. I think it's important here to note that phytoestrogens are not the same thing as female estrogens. Soy foods do not contain estrogen, but with that said, it's important to focus on food sources of soy rather than supplements, because you can't be sure as to how much you're getting in the supplement form. A lot of people are confused about this, and I think it's important to reiterate that. Foods that have a decent amount of soy isoflavones are going to be your edamame, tempeh, and miso, to name a few. Definitely stick to these ones if you can over the supplements. And the third is curcumin. In this triple-blind randomized control trial, where they took 93 postmenopausal women over 8 weeks, are found that curcumin with vitamin E significantly reduced hot flashes in postmenopausal women, but had no significant effect on anxiety, sexual function, and menopausal symptoms. And again, Thorne's curcumin has been the most clinically studied curcumin on the market, so it's the one that I would go with personally, which you can also find in the description box down below. And on that note, with vitamin E, make sure you don't overdo it. Vitamin E is fat soluble, which means it accumulates in the body. It's important you don't go over the 1,000 milligrams of vitamin E. But in addition to these, there are some lifestyle changes you need to be making as well in order to help manage hot flashes or vasomotor symptoms. The first is to eliminate your triggers. Now, for some people, these triggers are anything that raises your core body temperature. And I'm just going to name 4 of them to not overwhelm you. See if you can eliminate any of these. The first one being caffeine, and yes, that includes chocolate. 2, spicy foods, especially cayenne pepper. 3, tight clothing, as it could trap heat. And 4, alcohol and smoking. Try to limit and eliminate these to see if they help in any way. What actually helps is keeping the temperature in your room cool at night. Now, some may argue that you should also be avoiding exercise, which is absurd in my opinion. Now, the problem with that is that sedentary people may have hot flashes more often than people who exercise regularly. Having a sedentary lifestyle could be what's getting in the way. If you have to, you could even try exercising in a cool room if you think this may be a problem for you. Whatever it is, don't listen to anyone that tells you exercising is bad for you. As long as it's within your limits and there's no overexertion, it can be a good solution to modulate your hot flashes. Another thing you can try to do is switch over to a Mediterranean style of food, as it's been shown to decrease hot flashes according to this cohort study. Also, one last thing I did want to mention is, if you feel that your daily activities are impacted by hot flashes, make sure to speak with your gynecologist or your primary care physician. Sometimes it's important to also rule out other conditions that can mimic the same feelings of a hot flash. For example, problems with your thyroid, which is also responsible for regulating body temperature, right? Overall, I'm more curious to hear from you guys though. Do you have any tips and tricks to help you with hot flashes? Leave me them in the comments below. Hit the like button if you found this video useful, and I'll see you guys on the next one.